in the teapot.
Hell yeah, it is just after 9 o'clock, Thursday, the 7th of October, 2021. It's Thane, Sophia. We're here till 10:30. We've got Benny, Mack, Luke, Dallow joining us, and she's a pretty huge show tonight. We're talking to a meme king later on in the program. His name's Tavlova, and he's part of our show tonight. That's the guy in the middle there. He does some pretty amazing memes. I mean, just people that I know on social are all over them.
Thanks.
But anyways, that's a bit later on. Sophia, how are you today?
I'm really well. Is it your internet or is it my internet? It's like, it's going
Probably
a bit
mine.
funny. It's going a bit funny. Okay.
I'm uploading files as we speak, so it's slowing everything down, I'm afraid.
That's all right. That's okay. I just had Honey, our eldest child, come out and apologise for leaving another banana skin on the carpet. It's
Will
fun.
they ever
It's fun.
learn?
It's fun raising kids.
Yes.
No.
Oh, well,
There was
so
another
have a
banana
good day
skin
today?
last night. Why?
Sorry?
Great day today. Great day today. Yep.
Great. Let's move
We've just
Benny
finished doing
Boy.
some yoga. Oh, I don't know if you're hearing me. I don't know who's slow in the internet. Sorry, everyone. Something's going on.
Let's just go with that. See, this guy's fast. How are you, mate?
Freaking amping, man, mate. I'm the guy with the facts, and I am going to be diligent as they come tonight. I'm not going to let one fact slip through the net. Why? Because it's all important information. Disinformation is rife. Misinformation is rife. Propaganda, conspiracy. It's out of motherfucking control, but it's under my control. I'm going to keep y'all safe.
Thank you, mate, and thank you, Selena, as well. As we head back now, back, are you there? You good?
Yeah, I think so. It's my internet, isn't it?
I think so. I'm not quite sure. I don't care either, because we can hear and see you, which is good. Luke Dallow joins us on the show. I'm going to play everybody this. If you're tuned in on Twitter, if you're tuned on LinkedIn tonight, if you're watching us on YouTube, D Live, which is suddenly a thing. We're also coming to you on this other cool little thing. I don't know. But anyways, kia ora from New Zealand. Welcome to the show. If you're a local and you love pies, this will interest you. Talkback with Thane and Sophia wants to put you in the draw for a box of Lover Pie pies. Here's the incentive. We want to grow this beautiful community. All you got to do is share the show. Share the show on Facebook. One share is one entry into a delicious box of Lover Pie pies that will draw this Friday. Okay. This Friday it's going to happen. What do we got over here? We've got a little message from Hayden. Sophia, did Wayne Anderson get the pajamas?
No, he's got enough being sent his way. He's always talking about getting knickers thrown at him, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Are you a little bit worried that our beautiful Oasis, our beautiful level 3 here in Aotearoa is being eroded by a couple more cases? You got one in Beach Haven. I think you got two in Beach Haven, and you've got one in Whangarei now. So the outbreak is just creeping slowly through the country.
Great, it's great. I'm handling it well. I'm devastated. I don't want this. I'm like, get out of here. It's Valentina's birthday in a week. That's going to be in lockdown now. It didn't even occur to me that that would be even a possibility when we went into lockdown this time round. You know, for the first week, it's like October. No way, Jose. That's not going to happen. That's going to be cool. What are we going to do? She's all stoked about her birthday. That's going out the window. My birthday is going out the window. Not that it's all about our birthdays, obviously, but, you know, these are the little things that are going on in my life that are being impacted. And obviously business, you know, just love to get the business back up and running properly. It's just
I've got a shocking story for everybody. I was having a business plan made by somebody, and some very sad news, everyone. This is a trigger warning on this story. The business plan was being prepared by somebody, and it's like, this is taking a lot of time. What's going on? They're part of the 601, I'm afraid. We lost our business plan person.
What?
So I'm like, oh man, that is serious. So you just don't know who is suffering out there, who needs a check on. So nuts, isn't it?
Boy.
Yeah.
Hey, Stephen, I think it's the atmospheric conditions. Yeah, it's a bit
North
rainy.
Island, very rainy, very windy tonight, and you're going to get a little bit of shitty weather. So maybe that's bad internet. I don't know how it works. Now,
It does work that way, I believe.
yeah,
It's going to be catchy.
I was watching the news tonight. I watched One News tonight, and there's a reporter called Nicole Bremner, and she basically is one of these. I think One News are bringing back old reporters, Simon Mersep, from the days of Richard Long and Judy Bailey with One Network News. Anyways, she's been a good sport, man. She just trucked through all these background distractions. Have a little look at this one here.
Work like Auckland's border in a stringent way that we are checked and very strictly monitored in the way we move about. Police have told the government they simply don't have resources for roadblocks on every single road, and they are asking people just to follow the rules. They say police will be out and about, they will be stopping some cars, but they won't be stopping everybody. This is a trust model, and they're just asking people to keep their travel to essential reasons only.
And this new expanded lockdown begins at midnight tonight. How long is it expected to last?
Well, it's going to last until Monday, and it's important to remember that this is a classic level 3 lockdown. We've been calling it level 4 with takeaways in Auckland recently. And there are specific reasons people are allowed to travel. They're allowed to travel for work, for medical appointment. Also, just a reminder for air travellers that Hamilton Airport is now inside this level 3 cordon, and that means for people who live outside it, they will have to travel from Tauranga or Rotorua instead.
An unflappable Nicole Bremner in Te Awamutu. Thank you very much.
Oh my God.
To get through, eh? Holy moly.
What an absolutely strange scenario. Wowza.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you make of that there, Benny Mack?
Oh, yep. Nicole Bremner, I think she's gone down as one of the most unflappable, and that just absolutely just says that, she has got no flaps whatsoever. She cannot be flapped. And
no
it was just incredible. She does not give a flap, and that's a fact.
Thank you very much, mate. Here's our fact guy. He pops up from time to time. Just checking on your messages. Thane, can you please post the link to the camera room? Okay.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes. So if you want to join us this evening here on the camera zone, you can. You can ask questions, or you can just have a wee chat. So if you go onto our Facebook page, either Thane's personal Facebook page or our Talkback with Thane and Sophia page on Facebook, he's just posted a little thing that says Restream, and it has a link in it. Copy and paste it, or just click it, and then you can enter the room. Women are still looking pretty moist in their 50s now. J-Lo, Elizabeth Hurley. Yeah, that's true. Do you think that Nicole Bremner was in her 50s? Is that what we're referring to here? Or are you just making a blanket statement? I do think it's, those women are multi-millionaires, and I think it is their job to look good. So I think they do spend a hell of a lot of time sculpting and going to surgeons and paying for dietary requirements, etc. But yeah, not wrong. Still hot.
And look, Nicole Bremner's seen a few summers, but she still looks like she could run the Auckland Half Marathon. That's for sure. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm just going to quickly welcome in our guests here. Nigel Godfrey's here. We'll get to him very quick second. Let's just say hello to Michelle from Avondale. Hi, Michelle. Evening.
How are you?
Good. Here to take up some of our bandwidth. Awesome. I'm just going to park you
Excellent.
over there. Great. See Michelle. Now, the thing with Michelle, she just likes to be here and just kind of like sit just off to the side there and watch as everything goes down. So, we'll give
And
her that.
that's okay.
Yeah.
It's being a part of it, and I quite like that. And I don't think you should take that away from her. What I am going to just do is, can I kindly take 2 minutes to... Okay, it's going to be 30 seconds. I just am going to go and get my cup of tea.
Yeah, should you? Off you go. I'll get our guest here, so I'll go and do that. Let's do it.
Okay, bye.
G'day, Nigel. How are you, mate? All right?
I'm very good. You
Fantastic.
never guess people watch this. It's marvelous that people watch, actually. Someone I hadn't spoken to for years and years emailed me and said, when we get out of lockdown, I'll buy you dinner. Saw you on Thane's show. I said,
Oh,
"Good
hey."
Lord." There you go. He's a lawyer. Who knew?
Oh, yeah.
Who would
Oh,
have known?
wow.
A
Fantastic.
very good lawyer with his own law firm, and he saw me on here. He's probably watching tonight. Hello, Mike.
G'day, Mike. Awesome.
There you
It's
go.
weird, because because I was talking to some radio people, and they were saying, radio's dead in the evening, and I'm going, yeah, it is dead in the evening, but online's cooking. It's prime time around this time for online.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah, totally. Okay, hey, welcome to the show.
Thank
Love
you.
talking TV with Nigel. You have been in TV. Can you give a little reset on, so if anyone is just joining for the first time knows your credentials and that type of stuff?
Yeah. So I started when I was a kid in the UK. Hello. I'm very good. I started in the kid when I was like 12. Did some drama. I was a singer. I was a chorister in a cathedral in London. So back in '77, did my first telly at Elstree, where they now record The Chase, funnily enough. But then it was independent television. And then I went off, did lots of things, worked in Morocco, was a blue coat, Heidi High, all that. Then worked for the BBC and for Thames Television. And then I went to live in Australia, and I worked for Channel 10. And then TVNZ came over in the late 80s, 89 actually, when TV3 was setting up, because they'd lost a lot of staff and they were desperate to find people. They must have been desperate because they found me. And they made me an offer I couldn't refuse, and I intended to come to New Zealand for a year. I signed a contract for a year. I've now been here for 31. And as most people know, you don't actually get that for murder. So, I'm here and worked in TV for 31 years here in New Zealand. I have my own production company, worked for all the major networks, done many different things from being a promo director, floor manager, producer and director, which is what I kind of do now, and produced some big entertainment shows over the years. So big variety shows, I've done, produced those. Did a big Christchurch benefit from Sky City after the massacre. Most people know that I do Miss Universe. Well, I did Miss Universe and now have Miss World. And I also produced a live event, which also had some television component, called the Entrepreneur of the Year. I did that for 15 years, which entailed me going to Monaco every year for 15 years.
Oh, good.
That
It was
sounds
terrible, terrible job. And I'm very upset that that's finished. But there you go.
So this is Sophia, by the way. She wasn't here last when we
I
spoke,
know,
so-
and we've not met.
Hi.
I've seen you before. Hello, you've got tea, I've got wine. So there you go.
wonderful. What a combo. I did tune into that. I had a sore throat at the time, and I was just taking the evening off to rest. And it was actually really nice to just watch the show. It was really interesting. And I was actually quite glad at the end of it that I wasn't on, because it was so nice to see you and Thane kind of just going through all of these memory lane things about old shows and just so much to talk about. And it was really enjoyable to watch. And I don't know any of those shows, so it was great. So it was nice to learn more about you and hear your viewpoint on what you're doing with Miss World, etc. It's great.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So what are we going to talk about today? What do we go?
I've got a real thing for this telethon, the last telethon. And I'm going to be honest with you, straight up and down. I wasn't a fan of the old telethon, only because I'd seen so much of the old telethons.
Right.
And you don't get much time to actually, didn't you kind of go into panic mode? Just got telethon already. I don't even know what we were raising money for at
So-
the time.
Well, so the last telethon was TV3, and I was called in to produce it early on. And I decided that we needed a completely different approach. One of the reasons for that was that in the old days, you had this thing, the red card area, and everyone collected some money, and then they came in and they were on telly. Well, everyone can be on telly now. It's easy to be on telly. You know, you just wander down the street in Auckland, there are television cameras everywhere. And I realized that wasn't the big deal. And that really was the driver for telethon. It was, you know, every couple of years there was a telethon, and you went down to Princess Wharf or you went somewhere else and you were on the telly. It just wasn't the driver. And I'd worked on telethons in the UK. I'd also worked on one for TV3 back in the 90s and 93. I'd done one for CTV. And I realized that you needed to script them basically around the same way that you watch, which we don't have here, but there's a thing in Britain called comic relief, which is all the comedians got together to do Red Nose Day. So that was after Live Aid. Comic Relief came a few years later, and producers got together and said, we've got to make this work. And my thing is that if you're going to make anyone watch television, doesn't matter whether you're making an ad, whatever you're doing, if you want someone to sit down and watch, you've got to give them something. You've got to put in for them to watch. You can't just be wallpapering rubbish, you know, which a lot of television is. So my thing was, right, we scripted, and we scripted 21 and a half hours, which was extraordinary, really. That's very old. That's not mine. I've got the whole thing on DVD. I've never watched it. But basically, we scripted the whole thing. So nothing was longer than 4 minutes. We put a whole load of different things in. I got rid of the pledges. You had to actually donate the money. We used technology. We got the ASP involved. We did a live auction. We did a Trade Me auction, which Brooke Howard Smith ran. We did our own kind of idol thing where we went around the country, then we flew everyone into Auckland. There were just all of these different things that drove it and kept it moving and kept it going. And the viewership stayed very, very constant, which was extraordinary. I started off, TV3 had, they've never got any money. And they told me that I had 3 locations around the country. And that was it. And 2 of them were only going to run 8 hours. And by the end of it, I had 13 locations, 13 outside broadcasts. I'd created a corporate fund to fund those and make another 650 grand for the charity.
Okay, so money making,
Wow.
it did the thing. It did that. It
was corporate. It was a very corporate. There was a lot of branding. There were lots of elements that we shot and then rolled in. And it really did take its lead from Comic Relief in the UK, which still goes today. I wish we had it. I wish it was carried here. It's so funny. But it's just, you've got to script stuff, don't script what people are going to say. You say, right, we're going there for 4 minutes. We're going there. Whereas in the old days of telethon, you just, you did whatever.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which had its time then. It's just not good enough now. We've got everyone can be on telly. Everyone can do that. You can do that on YouTube. You can stream it like that. This is what you're seeing now. That's Rula Lenska and Pete Sinclair on her left. Those were great, Elodie. Those were absolutely great times. But they're just and the stomachs, which I never saw, but I heard a lot about.
We're not putting on the bloody stomachs.
I know. They're funny.
I
they
can't
were.
fathom what I'm seeing here. What part of the? Okay, you got your.
That's Chris Quinton there in his famous meeting up with Lisa Gibbons. They were classic times. I worked on the one in 1990, which was a TVNZ one. One of the things I'm going to be very honest here. One of the problems with telethon, which I realised when I took on producing TV3s, telethon really never used to make any money.
Right.
So everybody got paid for a start. Absolutely everybody. Everyone on the crew, everybody got paid. And so TVNZ, which was a state broadcaster, they ran the telethons. Telethon would cost, the one in 1990 cost I think it was 5 million and raised 5.5. And you look at that and go, well, what was the point? why didn't TVNZ go, you know what, we're just not going to do it, we'll just give the money back. Well, not give the money, not give the money back, but just donate the money.
Yeah.
It was a self-perpetuating thing. So when we started off with the TV3 one, we had the rule that TV3 had given a price to Kids Can, which was tiny. It wasn't even $1 million. And my thing was that everything had to be raised. Everything on top of that had to be raised. So we got a load of people donating their time, a lot of crew donating their time. Some crew were paid, most were paid, but that was within my budget of I think it was $500,000. And I don't think I'm speaking out of school to say that $500,000, which was the cheapest that anyone had ever made a telethon for, ever in New Zealand. The one I worked on in '93 was, well, $5 million was 1990. So I did one in 2009, 2010, and I did it for 500,000. So, yeah.
Got a question.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Okay, well, sorry, someone's got their Facebook hip in the background. I'm not sure.
I don't.
Someone's got some reverb going up. We've got private messages going. Looks like it could be you, Luke. Can you stop anything you got in the background? Hey, but you must be caught up in there. Is there certain adrenaline, isn't there, when it comes to outside broadcasts and live television? Nothing must be it.
Nothing, nothing. But I stayed up that 21 and a half hours. We got look, I can tell a very funny story. We got a. I'm laughing, and I've heard it. So we had this camper van, right, for me, parked down at the viaduct where we were doing it, so that if I could at least get away, I'd go and have a snooze. And in the 21 and a half hours, I think I slept for about 90 minutes. But the funniest thing, have you ever heard about the soiling fee?
No.
Yeah. So about 6 weeks after the telethon, I get a call from the head of production at TV3 who says, "You didn't take a dump in the camper van, did you?"
Yeah, the old dump in the old camper van.
And I said, "No, I did not." I said, "Because we've been charged $450 cleaning fee because someone took a dump." Well, I didn't. I have to say, I didn't take a dump. I literally laid my head down there for 90 minutes. But clearly, at some stage during the 21 hours, when that camper van was parked there, someone nipped in and did a terrible mess and cost TV3 $450.
That is a huge dump. It's a
very expensive dump.
Why didn't you just use the toilet?
I know. And we had loads.
It's a bizarre scenario.
And that's
but the adrenaline is massive on those. But the adrenaline is massive on any live show. We don't tend to do a lot of live shows. I mean, X Factor was probably the last big live. Well, Dancing with the Stars, most of it's live. One of the episodes is not. But we did X Factor live, and that was pretty exciting. There's just a different buzz. Things can't go wrong. They do go wrong, but and my capacity there is normally on the floor, so that's to stop things going wrong.
Yeah, totally. Luke, you got a question?
Nigel, that $450 dump, that's a bit more expensive than a 20p dump in London, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I've had very expensive dumps before, but I won't go into those. But yeah.
But Nigel, since we spoke last week, I was thinking about you.
Were you?
Have you done any pornography directors or producing? Has that ever crossed your mind? Because there's big money in that sort of stuff. And
there is massive money. It's never crossed my mind. However,
are you sure?
No, I haven't. But there's a funny story. Some guy comes to me. People always come to you. If you've got a production company, you've made a few things. People always come and say, "Hey, look, I've got this idea." And there was this Polish guy. It was very nice. He'd shot a commercial for me.
What was his name?
I'm not gonna tell you his name. He's no longer in New Zealand. Jan now. Oh, Jan? No. He now lives in Australia. That was deliberate. Anyway, he said to me. He came to me one day. He said, "I have very, very good idea for documentary. It's about, I can't even remember what it was about. It's about library in this and we travel country doing documentary." I said, I don't think it's got a hook, Jan. I just don't think we could sell it. We said, "Okay, so you do porn?" And I just thought, "What? 1 minute it's documentary now what?" He said, yes,
Yeah.
porn. Yes, I can do porn too. A very, very nice girl, and we have gear. There is a lot of money in it, but no, it's not
Right.
something that has ever interested me. I think it's there's a place for it,
Yep.
but I wouldn't want to be in that place. And I always think of the people who are in it. Normally early in the morning. No, I always think of the people who are in it. And one of the things is when they've done it, they probably wouldn't want to do it if someone went to them and said, hey, here's $1 million. Do you want to do porn? They go, no, I don't. So they're always driven by the money. And once they've done it, they can't take it back, especially in this world. It's out there and you're stuck with it. And I would never want to be involved in that.
And there's a lot of documentaries around that are really...
There's a very good one.
And they're quite sad.
There's a very good one on... it's either Netflix or Amazon, and it's about make me a porn star, and it's all these people they're living in Las Vegas, and they're young, and it's all governed by Mr. Big. Well, Mr. Big, normally Mr. Big is,
talking about porn there, Nigel. Have I got a bit of crossfeed going here or something?
Yeah, I think you've got crossfeed, and we can't really hear you properly. Maybe just jump out and then jump back in and see if it clears.
Yeah, I might do that, and I'll just see if I can sort myself out.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Manny.
It's going off to shoot some porn, actually.
Yeah, I think so. Or watch it, yeah. Hey, I've got a question just quickly. Do the networks come to production companies and go, hey, we've seen some overseas trends, feel-good family stuff. I don't care what you pitch me. Take me to lunch, give me a show. Do you get a brief?
No.
Or do you just find and your own ideas? How does that work?
It depends, really. I mean, it depends on the networks and their relationship with particular production companies. I'm not doing much work for the networks at all. I haven't done for quite a long time. The production company will come up with the idea and then pitch it, and that used to be, take the executives, take the commissioners out to lunch. Not so much anymore. It's all a bit boring and send it in by email. I don't like that because I want to face someone across the desk. I want to jump up. I want to stand up. I want to walk around the room. I want to sell the idea.
Of course.
I don't think you can pitch programs in just on paper. I mean, Kerry Packer always used to say, if you can't sell it to me in one page, I'm not interested. But he would have that sell across the desk. So the networks will hint where they want to go. I mean, for a while they were hinting like, if it's like Piha Rescue, if it's like border security, we want it. So they'll give those hints out. And then there are showrunners who make overseas formats.
Right.
We have a problem in New Zealand with our commissioners that they don't have the guts to commission new ideas and new formats. They just don't do it.
What do you think that is? Because we're a smaller country. We always, I mean, for me in business, I always find that New Zealand as a country really takes the lead from international. So if you do well overseas, people will instantaneously go, yep, absolutely, we want it. That's, even if it's a New Zealand brand, if you're doing well overseas, people are into it. But if you're seen as a local entity, sometimes it's a little bit harder to get it across the line and be popular.
I think we lack the guts. I think we lack the expertise in the commissioning area, the people running the networks. Let me give you an example. A few years ago, Evita was coming to New Zealand. It was a big international production of Evita. Stuart and Trisha McPherson were producing it. Big West End star going to be in it. George Hanare was Peron. And they didn't know who was going to play Evita. And they couldn't think how they were going to get the person to play Evita. And I said, why don't we make a television show to find Evita? And they said, wow, that's a good idea. That had never been done anywhere in the entire world. And so I wrote up this thing. I called it Oh What a Circus. So I took a song from the show and called it Oh What a Circus, and it was going to be Search for Evita. And we were going to go around the country, and then we'd have kind of an Evita school, and then the person who won would play Evita in this tour. The producers, Stuart and Trisha, who are great friends of mine, said, well, we think it's a great idea, Nigel. We need to send that to London, to Lloyd Webber, and to the Really Useful Company, because they it's their music, it's their musical, we're producing it, so they will have to approve it. So it went off, and they came back. They said, "Brilliant, love the idea, brilliant idea. Yeah, you go for it." TVNZ, Prime, all of them just said, "No, not interested. No, don't think it'll work."
Wow.
Now, a couple of years later, I was in London, and a friend of mine who's a theatre producer said, "How do you feel about your idea being stolen?" And I said,
Oh no.
What idea is that? And they said, "Well, oh, what a circus." And they said, they've made it in a different way. But I said, "No, just parallel thinking." And they said, no. Lloyd Webber has made a show called How Do You Solve a Problem Like Maria, to look for the new Maria for The Sound of Music.
Oh, you're joking.
And I said, "Well, yeah, it's a good idea. I mean, it was bound to come." He said, "No, do you not remember? You sent him the." I said, "God, yes, I did." Now, I've since met somebody from Really Useful, and I said to them, all I'd love is in a book from Lloyd Webber, one day for him to say, "You know what? We had this idea coming from New Zealand a couple of years before. We thought it was a great idea. They never went and did it, but we thought it was a great idea, and we developed that." And he said, "Yeah, that's never going to happen because you could then sue." So, but that's my story. I've had a number of those sorts of situations. They'll all be in my book, which I'm writing at the moment. But, the sad part is that we didn't make it here.
No. You know what? And TVNZ only drops the ball on the big stuff, right? Flight of the Conchords, your idea, the Pop Stars.
The show.
Well, Pop Stars, and I watched with Megan. Pop Stars is an interesting one because I can tell you a little bit more about Pop Stars. Pop Stars, in how it ended up on screen, wasn't what was pitched. So the guy who made that originally, the guy whose idea it was not Jonathan Dowling. It was a guy called Bill Toffler. And he had this idea to see if you could create a band and make a documentary about creating that band. Now, I actually did the first voiceovers for Pop Stars, and I recorded 2 episodes. And the network hated what I did because I started talking to the action, and that had never been done in New Zealand. So what would happen is they were doing those auditions at the town hall, and someone would say, "Oh, I just think I've got the most fantastic voice, and I'm going to be a pop star." And my voiceover kicked in with, "Well, you keep thinking that, love. Don't give up your day."
Right.
Now, that had never been done before. It's the "come dine with me" sort of idea.
I love that. I love that show, Nigel.
Great show.
Made by a school friend of mine, created by a school friend of mine. When the first 2 episodes went for approval to TVNZ, the executive in charge at the time, a man called Jeff Stephen, "What the bloody hell is that voiceover? God, who is it? What's going on? Why is he talking to the action? No, we can't have that." So that went away. That was a kind of an amusing part. The other part of Pop Stars was that 3 weeks in, they realized what they had, and they went, "Let's get it on air." And the production company pushed back against that because they said that ruins the documentary. We will never know if we could have created this band, because now everyone will know about it, so they'll all want it. Now, I don't think TVNZ were wrong. I think they were absolutely right. They created a new phenomenon. But that wasn't actually the original idea of the show. The reason that it became what it became, in many ways, was about technology. There was a new camera called the VX1000, which was a small sort of handy-cam camera, but the quality was as good as Betacam. And it was the first time it had ever been used. So in previous years, you couldn't go and film auditions. You couldn't run around and talk to people. You had to have big crews with cameras that cost 79 grand each. This camera cost $5,000. And, I remember being at a seminar in London, and the BBC said, "This is not a broadcast camera at all. And and I just put my hand up. I said, "Could you just tell me why you've actually got an order for 1,000 then?"
Yeah.
Is it like the Steadicam kind of?
No. The VX1000 was basically what was termed a prosumer camera.
Yeah, it was a handheld one.
Yeah. And we did Idol with that,
right.
those shows. So
So
there was this unique sort of perfect storm where you could shoot these things, and that made the show because, of course, Idol, pop stars, the auditions were massive. I mean, that was the fun part, certainly for Idol and X Factor. It then started to change, of course, when X Factor, because X Factor was Cowell. He'd been involved as a judge for Idol in the UK, but then he wanted his own show, so he created X Factor. A lot of people forget, he spent, I think, 18 months in court before X Factor could get to air because it was too similar to Idol. So there had to be these big differentiations. And then
Worth it, though.
Yes, and then Got Talent, of course, a different show. Again, Got Talent is basically opportunity knocks. That's what Got Talent is. The difference is with opportunity knocks, you had 6 people, winner stays on. Winner comes back, 5 new acts next week, new show.
Yeah.
Somehow we now go, oh, let's just have the same people on for 13 weeks. It's like, oh, for God, you'd never have got away with it in the 60s. They'd have said, we want to see new people.
Yeah.
Faces, 6 new acts every week.
Nigel, I want to talk about the VX1000.
Yes. If you've got one, sell it.
I use that a lot of porn at the moment. I also want to talk about a bit of animal porn.
Oh, no, what?
Have you ever met
Absolutely not.
Have you met David Attenborough? I want to know.
I've never met David Attenborough, actually. Never.
I'd love to meet that guy. That guy is like, he is my idol. I love that man.
Yeah, but David Attenborough, obviously an amazing wildlife documentary maker.
And I'm not saying, Nigel, I'm not saying he's involved with that. But,
No, not involved with the animal porn either. But the thing about David Attenborough was he was also an incredibly, incredibly visionary television executive. So David Attenborough was the controller of BBC Two in the UK when BBC Two became colour. And but BBC Two never had any money. All the money went to BBC One. So he had to come up with something that would really, really show viewers how great colour television was. You know what he came up with? He came up with a show called Pot Black, which was snooker.
Yes.
Put snooker onto television because it was so colourful. Big green, great big green.
Who was the player of the glasses? Who was that guy?
Winterbottom or something.
Charlie Dempsey. Charlie.
Higgins. Not Higgins. Dennis. With the glasses upside down. Dennis. He's a champion. He was just on that great Marigold Hotel. Great guy. But it was before that. This was Ray Reardon, and this was in the 70s and late 60s, I think. Anyway, so that was one of his things that he put snooker onto television, basically to make it colour, which is fantastic. But, imagine watching snooker in black and white; it wouldn't be much good.
No, but that was their their Pop Black was definitely our kind of a dog show. We just loved it. It was just very simple format.
There he is, Dennis Taylor.
That's look at him.
There he is with the glasses upside down. And originally he just took off when he was playing snooker, he just took off his glasses and put them up the other way.
Wow.
Because it worked for him to wear them up the other way with the bifocal when he could see what he was doing. But yeah.
It was a 9 o'clock on, it was an evening show, I'm sure.
In the UK it was the evening. It was 9 o'clock news was on one side, Pop Black was on the other.
Yeah. It was definitely an evening show here in New Zealand because I remember watching, because I was a bit of a snooker champ back in Papakura back in the day, and I loved it. Oh yeah, I loved it. I was the under 14 champ, under 12 champ, and under 11 champ.
Someone just put, "I love Showcase." There you go. That was a great show. Absolutely was a great show.
We've got a couple of questions coming through for you, actually.
It was very traditional. I propped a show a few years ago called Live From, which I got to say, John McDonald at TV3 was very, very keen on. Just couldn't get it past all the other commissioners who wanted to go. You had to get it past, but it was called Live From, and it basically, it the show went on the road. It was kind of like Top Town, but not Top Town. It was variety, and it was singing, and it was dancing, and you do it live from a different place every week. You know, we couldn't get that up. There was another one called Step Up, which was an ongoing weekly show. Which, I mean, they all have to have twists. So you can't just redo X Factor. You actually can't. I mean, you have to have 3 very different elements within a show, otherwise you get sued.
What do you think of the last Pop Stars?
Prepare a prop and take it to someone. What's the kind of workload to even do that? Is it frustrating when they get turned down?
Yeah, it's very frustrating because you can't make a mistake with a prop in regard to money, and I think every producer has.
Do you mean in terms of quoting?
Yeah. So you've got to run the whole show basically in your head, every eventuality. When you put that budget in, especially if it's going to New Zealand on air,
you just add a wee bit just as a buffer,
Well, everyone has a contingency, but you know, you don't want to lose that because you work on pretty tight margins. So that's hard. I mean, television is still a very expensive game. You know, X Factor. It was an expensive show. I can't quite remember how much it cost, but you know, it was millions. I think it was maybe 8 million.
Is it worth it though? I mean, they obviously get their money back, right? Or is it just like an actual service?
Well, no, they don't. I mean, Dancing with the Stars is an expensive show. You know, you get the traditional FTA free-to-air model is advertising and sponsorship, which is hard. You know, it's hard to realise those sorts of sums back.
And is that probably one of the reasons that they use presenters for that, like Sharon Casey, that also are on their radio brands, so they can kind of leverage that for other, you know, boosting other resources? Do you think?
I mean, there's always been a stable of, you know, networks have always had stables of presenters, and when MediaWorks had radio, they tended to do that. And I don't quite grasp what's going on at the moment, because they're now completely separate companies, but they still seem to have this synergy.
And don't get me wrong, I love Sharon Casey, so if it's not a dig, she's a friend of mine.
No, I mean, it's a friend of mine too that I work with.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the issues I have is that, you know, we don't really train our presenters. We have some great presenters. We have some really, really great presenters. We don't train them, and we don't like older people. And that is unique to New Zealand. It really is. I've never seen it anywhere else. Wow. You know, I mean, the guy who died earlier this year hosting Jeopardy, you know, he was 82, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, the British do it well with older presenters. I think.
Look at Bradley. Everyone loves Bradley. Everyone loves Michael. Michael McIntyre. You know, they're older. And
what about why
we are
it's
obsessed.
like a rapport, and it's sort of got this. It's got a depth, and people like it because it's respect.
And they're funny. And Bruce Forsyth was, you know, how old was Bruce when he died? I mean, he was in his 80s.
82.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've never done that. It's frustrated me. I mean, I've presented 5 pilots here, so that's, you know, it's never quite worked for me. And I think it's, for some reason, we go for young, pretty. I mean, like, I was on Shortland Street last year. I absolutely loved it. Fantastic team of people, fantastic production to work on. But it's very young. I mean, when you look at the cast, they're young, good looking. I was the old bald guy, you know.
But that's almost like a stomping ground, you know. That's where people cut their teeth, I suppose. It's like New Zealand's version of Home and Away, isn't it?
Well, it is. But it's not like New Zealand's version of Coronation Street or of EastEnders or of Emmerdale, which have a reality about them.
And aging, acting, you know, they age with the.
Well, you know, you go into a bar and there are real people as opposed to everyone looking fantastic. Now,
I wonder if they get paid more.
Sorry,
do they get paid more where they can sustain that growth?
It's not that. It's a. You just need to look at our screens and go, gosh, everyone's pretty, everyone's lovely. It's kind of like that American that really took over in America in the 80s and 90s. It's gone now. You know, if you look at American drama now, it's much more real. But there was a time, the Miami Vice days where everyone was good looking, everyone wore great clothes. Now, I mean, I've just finished watching the Billions, the last bit of Billions. Very, very different.
Great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
Guys, I've got my next guest
Nigel,
waiting. So
just
thank
one
you very much,
question, Nigel. One
Yes.
question, Nigel.
Yes.
Memorabilia. Have you got some memorabilia that you've nicked off any sort of? What's your most famous memorabilia close to you now? Come on, show us. Now. Show us now.
Yes, all right. Well, I have to go over there and get it.
Quick, get it. Go get it.
I'll come back.
Yeah,
I'll come back. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. It's on the shelf.
How pissed are you today? You're okay?
out of 10?
Out of 10?
I'm coming back. Here we go.
You look
That's
very
an 8.
pissy-eyed, mate. You look very pissy-eyed.
Right. So here we go. So this was a show I produced called Porkies.
Oh, yeah, right.
It was a flying pig.
Oh, look at his little
and,
tummy. He's so cute.
And this was a present given to me by Richard Taylor,
Oh, wow.
which is King Kong.
What did you do with King Kong, with Richard?
Well, I was in King Kong, actually. But I, blink and you'll miss me. Sorry, I've just got to turn the television down. It's just gone loud. So I was in King Kong. I played W.C. Fields and Blink and you'll miss it. But I worked with Richard. I went to Monaco with Richard with an Entrepreneur of the Year and worked with him on a charity on Variety, which I do a fair amount of work with or have done over the years. And he was
do acting as well as all of the other things that you do in production?
Yep, I do. I still act. I still act a fair bit. I mean, that was Short Street was last year, which was totally acting. And so, yeah, very. I'll do anyway. I've done about 20 TV series in New Zealand over the years. So as an actor, and half a dozen movies and about 60 commercials. So
wow.
Mate,
we got to call it a night there. Thank you very much, Nigel.
Been a pleasure
Catching up with you. It's always a great chat with
you.
you.
Always enjoyable. Lovely. Yeah. Nice to see you all. Okay. Bye now.
Thank you, mate. See you soon.
Bye.
See ya. Nigel Godfrey, everyone. G'day, mate. How are you, Tav? All right?
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Welcome to the show. I'll introduce you to these guys. We've got Luke Dallow there, publican, and Barfoot and Thompson representative.
Tav, how are you, bro?
Yeah, good, thanks. Good,
What's
thanks.
your story?
And Sophia up there. I haven't finished. Sorry.
Hi.
Well, yeah, why don't you explain what you do? You got a very different... Is it your job?
Nah. It's pretty much a second job. Yeah, I guess it's just making stupid shit for the internet. Excuse my language.
No worries.
So I feel like I'm what I act to follow as well. Like Nigel, such a legend. So I kind of feel like I'm not worthy to follow up that guy, to be honest.
Benny Mack's asking to come in. He is interested to meet you. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, Bo.
Hey, mate. I thought I may as well get in this one. It seems like a chocker show, so I'll just sort of sit in here and.
Oh yeah, cool. So Luke, to answer what Tav does, have you seen this knocking around the internet? This little gem here, or have you seen this one?
Oh, look at that.
Or have you seen this is the new one this week. This one here.
I saw that one.
Yeah. This is this guy's work. Or when we were going to go into level 3. That's another one.
Oh wow! Right.
Yeah.
We actually had that one on the show a few weeks ago.
We did. Right. We did. We discussed it at length.
I'm honoured.
Tav, you are my man. I love people like you.
Yeah, I like it.
We'll hook up later because I've got some interesting shit we should do, and we'll nail it together, and we'll be like amazing. I've got great ideas, Thane?
Yeah, he is an ideas guy. He's like a weird kind of Rain Man producer guy. So yeah.
Always keen for a collab. So yeah.
How do you where do you make those? Are you running Adobe or what's happening there? Is it Canva?
Yeah, just my half-ass photoshopping skills.
God, Photoshop's so complicated, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like-
especially like because I'm not classically trained on the ivories. It's all honestly just fiddling and having a tattoo. Sorry, I've got this rich white guy escaped from Auckland blocking my.
Right.
no.
Sorry. Hang on.
So
Sorry.
good.
Again.
I want to see
We've got
you
a
guys.
real weird scenario.
Tav.
Hang on. Is that better? Can you see everyone?
Yeah.
Okay,
Perfect.
Hey, so where do you start with? Are you all over the newspapers? Are you like now become a breaking news hound? Do you settle on an idea and then you kind of put some kind of 80s, 90s twist on it? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it's I kind of like I work all day on my computer, so I always see like every couple of hours I'll check the news and stuff, but usually I only tackle stuff that is relevant enough for a lot of people to get, if there's some small, not headlining news story come out that, only a few people would see, I'm not really going to bother. But my usual go-to is just anything kind of nostalgic and Kiwi. I kind of, I'm trying to hit that void of just stupid. It's kind of like finding internet pop culture from, memes that people would see from others overseas, and then putting a Kiwi twist on it, and then finding that sweet spot in the middle for it to be funny, I guess.
Yeah.
It's hard, honestly.
Tab,
I see your t-shirt.
I wouldn't call it stupid, Tab. I'd actually call it intelligent. I like it.
Very cool.
Gotta plug my merch.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Now, what about your fruit salad plant behind there, mate? What's the story of that?
No.
Fuck your one.
It's just my beautiful Monstera.
Mate, I tell you, that one there is
Turkey.
the skinniest one I've ever seen. It's quite high. Definitely, you've got the roots nice there. It's good. But what the fuck? Do you need like a donation for something for your shelves? Do you need a few things to put in the shelves there? Look at the pass your little house there, mate.
Hey, don't judge.
I'm not judging. I'm just judging. I'm not judging. What the hell is the thing on the right-hand side? What sort of plant's that on your other left-hand side? Is that a plant or is that a light?
I think it's a
lamp. It's just a lamp.
Leave him alone.
It's my work from home setup.
I love you, Tab, already.
You need to sell him some blackbirds, Luke.
Please ignore Luke's mean comment.
Yeah. It's true though. A lot of people do think you're an islander with Tavlova.
It's true. I get it a lot. It's kind of why I used to keep my page quite anonymous. But then over this year, I've slowly started to reveal myself a little bit so that,
it's been good.
People know who I am. But yeah, my real name is Tavis. It's like Travis without an R. It's a Scottish name.
Are you like the Banksy of the internet sort of art? That's a good question, by the way, you dickheads.
Yeah, okay. It's a good, but I reckon you are in a sense that so many radio stations repost your stuff because it's right on point, They love it. So you have become like the darling of the meme game locally. So you got to take the props though, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's been a crazy year. I actually started my page in 2013, so a long time ago. And just like anything, any creative starting out, like when you first start, everything sucks and everything's really, really horseshit. And I just kind of went through like different phases of taking the page seriously for a few weeks and then stopping for ages and then, taking it back on and then stopping. And then this year I set this New Year's resolution to post something every day and really up my game and become better at Photoshop. And it's been hard, but it's October now. So yeah, it's been a grind.
It's rewarding. Yeah. Beanie, you got a question?
I've actually been getting into photoshopping. Last night on the show, we actually did some. I transformed Sophia into George Michael.
Oh yeah, it was great. You want to see?
Do I have to pull it up?
Hell yeah! I'm weirdly proud of it. Check this out.
Did you get stopped at the border for that? Putting the, the bad stuff on your computer. Thai boys.
Well, some of the stuff that I have to Google on the show, and half the stuff you come up with looks fairly questionable. So I'll have to check my my history for sure.
Can I just say, we've got another guest backed up. Can I just say, Andrew, I see you in the lobby. We'll see you in a couple of moments here, mate. Is that okay?
Yeah, no
we'll
worries,
be
man.
with you shortly. Thanks, matey. Just hold there. Hey, but I want to know, this is all taking too long. I want to get to the real stuff over here. Tav, are you able to tell us what are you working on tomorrow? Are you actually able to share screen? And so we can have a look at your process, like actually.
A sneaky peek.
Yeah, that would be the best.
One sec.
That's the best, Thane. That's
Um,
have you heard about the bar that's doing the picnics on Ponsonby Road? You heard about that?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, here we go. It's early phases.
Yeah, but it was to do with you know, sort of a charity. Like, what would you do if you wanted to support a charity? How would you look potentially? So this is sort of
we're
it's
considering
wholesome.
it now because it's not bad, is it?
It's pretty good,
Right?
and part of, I mean, I'm not as good a Photoshopper as you, my guy, and I'm not as prolific. But my process is I use.
Oh, hey, here we go, guys. Look at this. Here we go.
Software.
Holy yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, no, that's.
So fair, you'd go to bed with that guy, wouldn't you?
Wow, check that little noggin out.
Oh my, look at those eyebrows.
It's just.
I feel like the head could be a bit bigger because it's not far off what the actuality of Thane's head looks like right now.
Look at that fisting.
Check out the lighting. The lighting is just sells it. You know, very superhero.
I'll show you.
That's amazing.
Sorry, this is the actual one that I made for
cool.
tomorrow. So, been just fiddling around with the Foursquare guy. You can call me Diddle Frizzle.
Yeah, bro.
Oh shit! Sorry.
Oh no!
Oh, wow, that was cool.
Sent you into
It's
the
on
shadow
point.
realm.
You're going to have to send us that Thanos thing, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
that's going to be his new profile picture everywhere. That's going to be a proud moment.
I actually made that a while ago and just never posted it. But I thought it was just perfect to unveil it for tonight.
Oh yeah, perfect.
On point.
But yeah, it's a tricky game.
Is there much competition out there, mate? Are there anyone else slowly coming up? Because I see the rise of TikTok, and especially the poly comedians are really coming into their own and absolutely killing it. But in the meme game, there's only you. There's got to be another one. I forget who else is doing it.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of the advantage I have. It's like there's no one. Well, there might be. Like, I mean,
it's like the lockdown memes, eh?
Yeah, NZ lockdown memes is obviously killing it. I get compared to his page quite a lot, but I feel like we're quite different. Like a lot of my stuff is like manipulating images and trying to kind of find like a weird pop culture kind of meme art. But a lot of his stuff is just kind of
refined
captions
as well.
Thank you. Yeah, a lot of thought goes into it. But yeah, there's some amazing comedians out there. There's some amazing comedy pages. Shout out to the Legend of Marty Banks. He's got a great sports page. Alex Malcolm, he's a good friend of mine. There's Waikato Admins that they've been around for so long, and they do some really, really funny stuff. But then there's like people like Just the Norms, Joe Damon's. There's some hilarious people online, and I
reckon Just the Norms was the most underrated, right? Out of all of them,
he's so good. He's amazing.
I don't know any of these. I need this to go up on a list for me to follow because honestly, I have no idea.
Yeah, Just the Norms is he's great, and I don't know if you should watch. He did this like Eminem, the Stan video clip. Where he's writing a letter to Eminem. He did it, but he's writing a letter to Jacinda, and it was the best comedy content I've seen, like for at least a year come out of NZ. The dude is seriously funny.
Did you hear the other day about Eminem's mum opening a restaurant called Mom's Spaghetti? From the song?
Really?
Yeah, so good. And he was out there like serving customers and stuff, which is pretty cute.
Where you based, Tav? Are you in Auckland or?
Yeah, bro, I'm just in Grey Lynn.
Fantastic.
So I actually work as a video producer. So this is why I spend quite a lot of time messing around with Photoshop and Premiere and After Effects and all that stuff. So I kind of make a lot of corporate stuff and have to listen to marketing people 9 to 5. So then when I get home, I can kind of just jump on Photoshop and get silly.
And what's your favorite go-to shortcut for Photoshop on the keypad?
Geez, I don't know. I guess just
Control 6.
yeah. Control Alt Shift F5. No, just duplicate. Or copy and paste. Like, yeah.
The Command C, Command V.
Yep. So if I've got something, Tav, if I've got something, because like I said to Sophia and Thane, I'm pretty crazy with shit, right? So I did the picnic thing. It's been all over the media, right throughout the media. Cost me $5 in my brain. It's you've probably seen it, have you? With the picnic on Ponsonby Road, Midnight Gardener, all that news thing. Anyway, you probably
What's that?
It's been, hey, but I come up with some great stuff. And so if I've got an idea for you, shall I just give you a little tingle and say, what do you think about this, Tav?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
honestly,
more people that feed into you've got the mindset of.
Yeah, totally. I'm more than happy to collab with people. There's a guy, Ben Walker, who works in radio and events and stuff in Auckland, and he's always sending me ideas, and so we'll like collab, and he'll post it and I'll post it as well. I saw that. Yeah, I did used to work at NZME. By the way. Yeah, it's probably why a lot of the radio stations share my stuff.
Could we bring Benny Mack in there, Thane? Can we bring Benny Mack in?
Benny Mack, are you there? Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
So, Tav, you got the four of us here: Benny Mack, Sophia, Thane, and I. Do you think you could just make something up in the next 48 hours to promote this radio station and play around with it? Make us. You obviously got Thane, and you need to make Sophia look really sexy.
With my shaved head, obviously.
Yeah, and then you look at me, just give me a bit of tan.
I've heard about that.
And then Benny Mack, make him a little small, like a Yoda or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe some like the Planeteers or something, and Captain Planet.
Yep,
but I'm kidding. I need hair. I will definitely need hair for this one.
And Tav,
we'll pay you, dude. Luke's made of money. He'll fucking pay you.
Slide into my DMs, dog.
Yeah. Hey, mate, thank you very much for joining us tonight. I really appreciate your time, and get back to work. Keep up the good fight. You're doing great. You've definitely turned that corner. Hopefully, it's all money after this.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, check out my website if you want a Ben Lama shirt.
I definitely do.
Hey, so it's tavlova.co.nz, right?
Just .com.
.com.
Or just check out.
Thane, $100 Midnight Gardener voucher for Tav, okay?
I come down and have some dumplings, mate.
You're a made man. Dumplings are the best.
Legends. Yeah, thanks for having me. This is awesome.
Thank you so much for coming on.
No worries.
Great.
Easy. Anytime. See you later.
See you, mate. He's a qualified superstar, man.
Yeah.
I like how Luke talks to you like you're his bitch. Like, Thane, get that man that voucher. Get it to him.
I like it too.
Next, you draw a picture of me.
Unapologetically, Luke.
You can send him an email yourself. Can't you?
How about
before you talk, Thane? I was going to say he'd be quite good to put some legs on Michelle, wouldn't he?
Oh, classic.
All right, next.
Yeah, let's move on.
Gift for mama.
Good on you, Michelle. Hey, I've got a guest waiting. I've got to move on, guys. Thank you very much. Andrew Featherstone, thank you for waiting like this patiently right there. How are you, mate? All right?
I'm good, man. Good. No worries. Everything's good.
Fantastic.
How you doing?
Real good. Now, this is Sophia and Luke.
Hey, guys.
Excellent. Now, Andrew, you do a whole lot of things. You're the bassist, aren't you, for a band called The After? Is that correct?
Yep, that's right.
Yep. And also, you involved in Battle of the Bands, or you got some kind of international Battle of the Bands?
Yeah, that's my baby. I've been running the Battle of the Bands for 26 years.
Wow.
So it's happening right now, and as we speak in Christchurch. I would normally be there, but I'm in Auckland, so I'm in the leper colony. I can't leave, so I've got some good folks there doing what I usually do.
Andrew, that's the college students battle the bands. Is that what we're talking about?
No, that's the Smoke Free Rock Quest, which is basically all the school-age kids, and mine it's titled Battle of the Bands National Championship, and it's basically in bars for the next age group, I guess, all in the pubs, and the winner gets a slot at Rhythm and Vines, New Zealand tour, recording at the Lab in Auckland. My good friend producer Steve James, who produces my material, is mixing the Battle of Bands Winners single in Australia. Jansen have been a long-term sponsor. We have an Alan Heath mixing desk to give away, and lots of goodies. So we've been doing it every year for 26 years.
26 years though, Andrew, and you must have spat out some big superstars in New Zealand.
Oh, we've had a few. We see them in the early days. Jason Kerrison, his old band just before Opshop, Fungi. They were one of our first winners that sort of went on to bigger things. That was in 1997. Tadpole, 95.
Wow. I used
Blind
to
Spot didn't win it.
Tadpole.
Everyone thought they were going to win that year. In the year 2004, I think, a band called Mama Said from Hamilton actually won the year. Just beat Blind Spot. There's a huge amount of talent that year. Lots of them. Yeah, it's great fun. I get to see them all before everyone else, kind of in a way. So it's kind of a
bands
/ seasonal gig.
Do you find it really gratifying to watch that transformation of and get to see them first and then see what happens when they're exposed, I suppose, with your help from winning and watching them just come out into their own?
Yeah, I love it. I love it when, and it's a bit depressing how many really great bands there are and how few actually sort of really turn it into a career. But it's really nice to see when people do. But it's a long process, and you see a lot of people get close to. There's a lot of bands that you see year after year sometimes, and they get so polished and so developed, and songs are getting really great, and they don't get the breaks they need enough, and the morale drops, and two of them are into the bitter end. Two of them are like, oh, we'll see what happens, and I see a lot of that, which is, it's a little depressing, but that's just the way it is.
In your opinion,
it's a tough numbers game.
Yeah, well, what are the things that you think are the most important? Is it grit, perseverance? Is it talent? Is it a combination of all of it? Is it luck? Like, what do you see being the main factors in getting past that point of,
definitely
almost?
A few things. I mean, songs is definitely a big one, I think. And determination too. I remember Mike Chun saying to me years ago something that really stuck in my head all my life. And he said, the artists that succeed are the ones that are willing to, go back to the drawing board and keep tweaking. And, don't give up. And it's a long way to the shop for that sausage roll.
Oh, absolutely.
Andrew, you look like a true rock star, mate. You two look like a true rock star. I bet you've got tight black jeans on with a real tight ass. Come on, stand up. Have you got tight black jeans on?
Well, they're slightly blue, but I'm here in West Auckland with my jeans on.
Yeah, but you got that tight ass rock star bloody ass, haven't you? Yeah, that little tight one.
Oh,
well.
No, come on, Andrew. Come on, you know the look, mate. You know the look.
The old guys in skinny jeans. That's a bit taboo.
You got it.
Hey, it's good that you're keeping in with it, though, right? I mean, the After is getting a bit of success. It's getting some play overseas. You got Close to Me going off. When you tour, you're always doing a collaboration, like with Juice TV. Are you getting some decent numbers and gigs before the shit went down with COVID? So
it's
walk us through the band.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited. So we released. It's a fairly new band. It's about 2 years old, and I've changed people around quite a bit and been developing it. But a few months ago, we released single Clear to Me, and
Clear to Me, that's it, yeah.
we've pretty much got all sort of small regional radio stations in New Zealand. We're still sort of in the inbox of the networks, but we've had a lot of international airplay just recently. I had an international radio plug-in company get on board, and we've had an amazing uptake, especially in the US and Europe too. We've just had some chart positions come in, particular radio charts. There's one called Bandwagon Radio Network in the US, and the song debuted at #1, which kind of blew me away. One of the top 100, dropped to #2 the second week, and it's back up to #1, apparently the most voted song. And I didn't even know you could vote. I've only just told like a few people I know, oh look, there's this thing in America and you can vote. So that was nice, because it just happened sort of almost on its own, and there's all these people voting for it, and they're not my mates. So, yeah, it's a long way to go, but there's some good stuff going on.
Battle of the Bands, Andrew, is that a New Zealand initiative? Is it
26
So
years?
what, sorry?
Is a Battle of the Bands 26 years a New Zealand initiative?
Yeah, although from 2004 to 2007, I did turn it into World Battle of the Bands, and I started with Los Angeles, Hong Kong, Australia, and New Zealand. It wasn't quite the world, but it was 3 continents, and then I added Singapore, Philippines, and then Taiwan, China. I had MTV media partners in 2 Asian countries, the opposition, Channel V, and like a regional deal, a Jägermeister sponsorship. I had a lot of things going on, but I was a bit stretched like a rubber band. I had a record label at the time, Intergalactic Records, and 8 Foot Sativa, a heavy metal band from West Auckland, sort of went through the roof. I flew all around the world.
Just on 8 Foot Sativa, Andrew, do you remember? Remember the Green Man? He used to have those legendary parties in Grey Lynn, and 8 Foot Sativa.
Of the success of that. Yeah. He had a lot to do with it. He basically was playing the song 8 Foot Sativa, the single, which was the lead track, which kind of took off. He was playing it all the time on the rock, without Brad's okay. It wasn't on the playlist. But he had the night show and played it, and the listeners wanted it. They were ringing up. I was in there with the boys doing interviews on the night show, and people were ringing up. They just the rock listeners wanted it, even though they weren't on the playlist. At the same time as Satellite Media, Scott Cara and Leander, they were real champions of that project too. They had M2 and Rip It Up at the time, and they were both big fans of the band as well. And Paul Martin with the Axe Attack, and those 4 media people were a big part of the band's taking off. They also had Squeeze and Space TV shows, which the band were all over them. I remember we had Disturbed, the American metal band. Eccles had them in Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch. I was working with Eccles at the time too, or just before, just after. It's another story, but we had 8 Foot Sativa as a support band for Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch, and Squeeze wanted to do a whole half-an-hour show on 8 Foot and how they were opening for these American bands. So I hustled some free Rolls-Royce limousines out of this local Auckland company. Said, look, if you give me your limousines through the daytime and you're probably not using them, I'll get you on TV and you try and get you on the credits. And we did it, and we got 2. They said, we got 2 these matching Silver Shadows or whatever they were.
Very cool.
Hey, it was really great because we were filming the band from one to the other. Yeah,
that's so cool.
I remember the punchline though was that when they ran the story, they took a picture of Disturbed coming out of the airport, getting onto this little bus, and the support band pulled up in their Rolls Royces. So, yeah, some fun with that project. It was my little Sex Pistols and my labels.
Why is commercial radio? Why isn't? I mean, 8 Foot Sativa were the devil's skin of the time, weren't they? In a weird way, they kind of own that hard sound. And you don't get Greenies all the time. He's like a unicorn on the radio, and pushing bands and stuff like that. These days, if rock and Hodaki, if it wasn't for these little independent stations around the country, it's very tough for them to take risks when they've got so much audience. I wonder why.
It's tough, man. There's it's like a funnel. There's so much stuff that could get a life if it got more airplay, and there's not a lot that gets on. They'll say everything they put on, they've got to take something else off, and it's tough in their game too.
I suppose airs up. Fair enough. Okay, well,
but there are some good independent stations around New Zealand.
Who are you getting played on around the country?
Around New Zealand, we've had amazing support from Chaos FM and The Generator, Bayrock. We've had a lot of support from those guys. The station in Tauranga and Juice TV. We've just got a good stat from Grant that we've most played rock track on Juice TV for 2021. So pretty tough with that.
Yeah.
So hey, mate, I remember the old green man. He was a good little bugger on the Thane. He was the night guy, wasn't he? You're the Duke of Rock. Right. He was a fantastic guy. And I remember the most famous thing with the green man ever did, because he used to come in the park in the bar, which I used to be the manager of. And, we did
right.
Yeah, I was the manager back all the days back in the park in the bar. Andrew, remember the park in the bar?
I sure do. I had my own limousine stories of parking the bar back when I was 18 or something. I was Westies. We used to amuse ourselves with getting a limo and filling it with booze and trying to pick up girls. And we used to always go to park in the bar.
What was that?
Pull up in our limo and jump out these scruffy Westies.
I was that guy that filled those limousines up for you. But with the green man, the one he's bloody was it Thane? Just remind me, mate. He did a party in his backyard or something, and we had everyone come to the park in the bar, and everyone had to put paper bags on their head.
That was Green Man's backyard, wasn't it? On the North Shore.
Right. Yeah, it was the Green Man's backyard, and everyone was in this bus.
Yeah, and he had rock listeners winning. There's a whole bunch of people came up on a bus. They got a bus and drove it from down country and picked up listeners in Palmy and Hamilton and stuff like that. It was bloody great. And 8 foot played that. That was a bit of a drunken, messy day.
It was a great guy, the old Green Man. I mean, he was a fantastic guy.
Yeah.
So, now look around your room there, mate. I want to see a bit of rock memorabilia. Show me a bit of rock memorabilia in your room.
All right, I'll give you. I'll see how long. I might go for long because my battery doesn't last long. But what do we got here? Pool table.
Oh yeah, cool.
What do you got there? Oh, yeah.
Got a pool table. Let's go.
Oh, my jam room. It's a bit in disarray at the moment.
Don't worry about it, mate. We're in lockdown.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway.
Cool.
Banners.
Oh, the Babes.
Oh yeah, that was my sister event, Battle of the Babes.
You are a true fucking 1960s man, aren't you?
I love it.
Oh, this house is like a old Tudor mansion or something.
Oh, I fucking love. Oh, that's it. The Battle of the Babes.
Yeah.
Well, that was the banner on the wall there. Yeah, I ran Battle of the Babes for a while too. That's
Eccles. He's done a lot for New Zealand music, eh?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I worked with him when he first came to New Zealand. When he first returned to New Zealand.
Oh yeah, I was going to say he's a Kiwi, isn't he?
Yeah, and he'd been in Australia for a long time. It was did many things, but he was the drummer and then the manager of the Angels.
Oh.
And he also the drummer of Citizen Band, and that's how I went through Mike.
I tell you what, I saw him last year at Citizen Band, and it was at the greatest pub experience at the Spark Arena.
That's
the
right.
The worst band was the Dudes. The best band was Citizen Band. I loved, and I was going, "Fuck, is that Eccles on the fucking drums?" And it was.
Eccles on the drums, Mike Chun on guitar, on bass, and is it Jeffrey, Mike's brother?
Yeah, they got that all wrong, mate. The Dudes were the worst. What do you respect?
Yeah, fair enough.
I wasn't there.
Oh, mate. And Jordan Lark. I mean, it was Jordan. It was definitely Citizen Band, Jordan Lark, and then the Dudes.
What do you think of? Andrew, what do you think of the rock scene at the moment? Is it still pretty healthy with bands out there? And once we can get back touring, do you think it's still going like it used to?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I don't think things have changed that much, really. I mean, people are sort of ask me, a lot of musicians around the country, oh, what's the Auckland scene like? You know, I don't know if there is ever really much of a scene. It's just, you know, if someone has some hits, then people will line up and see them at any old venue and pay good money to see them. And if you haven't got any hits, no one really gives a shit. You know, it's kind of like it's the same old a bit. You know, there's I suppose even before my time, where lots of people would just always go to that particular venue regardless of who's on. I mean, you can occasionally.
And they're off. Clean start. Shiny figures now quickly now coming up on the inside.
Luke's gambling now. Do you want to watch a quick race? Have you got enough battery?
Followed on the outside by Deathblow.
Have you got money on it?
Yeah. Number 13.
Number 13.
Cosmo Piedra. 3 wide there is R Walking. Back behind Natural Fever and
Tokyo.
Access. Back behind Full Gorilla. Outside Smart Frey. Back of the pack.
We want number 13. Rocks. Look at those horses go.
As we head up into the third corner. First corner for us now. Yoko Zakura.
There we go.
In the lead, followed there by...
2 drinks going at the same time, Luke.
Yes, Shine Vigorous.
2 drinks going at the same time, by the looks.
Yoa Savior. Yoa Savior now up in the third. Is he going to run that?
Number 13.
Luke is lit, mate.
Go, boy. Where is he?
Yoa Savior now trying to move up into second, getting past Satsuki Bride. Satsuki Bride holding her own for the moment.
Here we go.
So
here we go.
We made $200-something last night.
Here we go.
Yoko Zakura, there comes.
Here we go.
Let's do this.
Here we go. Yoa Savior. Nishino Axis coming down
10.
strong as well. Yoa Savior has that lead. Nishino Axis starts.
Yeah.
Yoa Savior in for the victory.
Sorry, boys. There you go. Pretty cards.
Oh, well, you win some and you lose some, eh?
Sorry, Andrew, about that. We're trying to
There she goes.
Would have been good if you won.
Yoa Savior.
And they've given me $15 to try to raise $2,000.
Yeah. It's all fundraising, isn't it? At the end, we put the fun in fundraising. Hey, Andrew, thank you very much. The best of luck with the band. The after everybody. I know that you do play at Anthology Lounge from time to time. I think did you have something scheduled up at Lee Sawmill? I don't know. No. When's your next big gig?
Yes, we do actually. We played there before, but we're doing a summer tour, and we've got a Lee Sawmill date in January.
Sweet.
Festival down in Waikato, and a bunch of tour dates. Another single in the works. We were recorded at the lab the day of lockdown. Actually, the day the one case was announced. We just got in the rhythm tracks down. So behind the scenes is another single coming, but it's still a long way to go with that one. You know, we've got 500 radio stations on board now, so it's time to try and shovel some more coal in and make that like.
Perfect. Good luck.
Andrew, I've been listening to Apple Music, and one of my favourite bands is Metallica. And what I found on Apple Music is they've got this tribute, not a tribute, but all these Enter Sandman, like 5 to 20 sort of people singing Metallica Enter Sandman. It's amazing. Oh, it's incredible, mate. The different female, classical, whatever. Honestly, mate, I can listen to this whole album, the same song, but it's a different,
reworking, eh? Yeah, awesome. Well, mate, thank you very much. Pleasure to hear from you, Andrew.
Have a great night.
Okay, mate. See you soon. Andrew Featherstone, everybody, from the
Thank you, good sir.
Nice to have him there. Well, there you go, guys. That was pretty good. I like to have a little bit of rock and roll chat.
Oh, mate. Very nostalgic show tonight. A lot of history's been discussed. It was great. Even for a young tyke like me, I understood about 10% of what you guys talked about.
Fabulous.
I've just had an Earl Grey tea and one bourbon. That's all I've had. Okay,
mate. We saw you chopping into that bottle of Soho. How can you say that? You were drinking out of the bottle at one stage.
I was thirsty.
Yeah. Hey, tomorrow on the show, everyone, I just want to say we've got Vinny Eastwood from 9 o'clock. He is a anti-vaxxer guy.
He's a living giant, is what he is.
Yep.
How big is that guy?
He's about 7 foot. He's a giant amongst men. He's Vinny Eastwood.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Oh, I like that.
He's a hell of a showman.
Michelle, would you like to have a bit of him?
No.
Okay.
Fair enough.
He's a gentle giant, is what he is. You know, what do you reckon? He's a bit too sort of big for you?
No.
There's a distinct height difference. No, thank you.
I reckon he'd have Benny over a barrel squeaking like a bloody...
Well, it's interesting you say that, but with Vinny Eastwood, he'll probably actually admit it himself. He's a case of the bigger they are, the harder they fall, and he's actually a gentle giant, and he's actually, if you set him just off balance, just so, he'd be down.
Yeah,
it would be like.
Hey, Mack, you just been a fact finder there. You know that guy that drove all the way to Taupo, murdered his wife, and drove all the way back down. What was that guy's name? That all fat guy?
Oh, old Fatty McStabberson.
You know the guy? Remember the guy, Thane?
And they held him up. Hey, he was like collapsing.
Can you just put those two guys together? Because I reckon they might be related in some way. Can you bring that up, Benny Mack, while Thane and I talk?
Yeah, we just got to bear in mind that we have got Vinny Eastwood on as a guest on tomorrow's show.
Oh,
so we're looking forward to respecting our guests.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we don't want to take the piss, but I want to know that guy's name minimum. I don't have to see a picture of him.
What is that guy's name?
Yeah, I can't remember.
So what do I type in? Old Taupo Stabinator.
Yeah. Hey, Sophia, I'll be home. I'll be there shortly.
Classic. Yes. All right. Well, it's time to pretty much. We've got 3 minutes to go. I hope everybody had a great time. And
what's today, mate? I don't even know what the day is today.
Lundy.
Oh, that's
Lundy.
it.
Yeah. Thank you, Blair. Lundy.
Yes,
Yeah.
Hello.
Well done.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Did you?
Hello.
Hello, Michelle.
Can I speak?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Thane, why can I see private chats with other people?
Oh, because when you're logged in like this and not watching like everybody else, you can see all our private chats.
Okay, because the private chats aren't between me, it's between other people.
That's correct.
Yeah, you're on Restream right now.
Yep.
You're not on Facebook.
Oh, so Benny Mack's been sending you some dirty texts, has he, Michelle?
No.
Oh.
It was between yourself and someone else in the room that's not here at the moment.
Oh, Sophia, I know she's got a crush on me.
I know. Unbelievable.
Yeah, so that's a private chat just between the people that are within the broadcast itself.
Yeah. Hello, Thane.
Hello. Yeah, you got my messages there. Thanks, Michelle.
I should be Thane.
Hey?
I should be your producer.
Well, you got to start producing. You're just basically sitting there, asking questions.
You look like Jabba the Hutt there, Michelle.
Mate, Michelle, a chicken does more than you. It produces an egg every day. Just sitting there.
Hey, there's stop taking the piss out of it, Betty.
I love it, Luke.
I didn't think it would get such a big pop, to be honest.
I love it.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much. Let's talk about the Lundy Hundy tomorrow. Because that's actually a very interesting story.
Everybody calls me Trouble.
Okay, Trouble.
Capital T or capital T or
Trouble.
Good night, team. Hardy
Good night, Trouble.
Good night.
See you, mate.
Good night. Bedtime for us all.
Thanks, viewers.
See you, pal.
Bye.
Thank you very much, Michelle. All the best. Thank you very much, mate. We'll see you for the big show tomorrow night, eh?
it's going to be a big one. I tell you, the big boy is going to be on the show. And I tell you, I was actually watching his show today. He is back on live. So make sure you go over there to Vinny Eastwood on Facebook. He's broadcasting now. He is broadcasting thanks to the power of freedom of speech.
And Holden Healthcare. He's got a sponsor.
And Holden Healthcare. So it's exciting times.
Yeah. Catch you later, everyone.
Stay healthy out there.
Back tomorrow from 9. See you.